I can repeat the question. It was really essentially music first or lyrics first, and all the early stuff, all that we were talking about, Hallelujah or whatever, I'd string together these amazing long chord progressions or something like that. It was raining, and then I'd sit down for 8 months, sometimes drafting the lyric to get it fit, because eventually at the end of the day, no matter which way you go about it, they have to sound absolutely, that text and that music could not be with anything else. It just has to sound like it, almost like it's all coming out at once, which it never does. And basically, I wrote some 8-minute, with all these wonderful chord progressions and modulations and all, really exciting stuff, and dragged them around for 5 or 6 years. You could never find a word for it. You could never find a scenario that would work as a text. It seemed like it needed a text. But I've forgotten them now. So 7 years ago, I just kind of made a decision that, let's try it, because this is how Schumann can write, or Schubert can write 200 songs in a year, right? If he's got text, he doesn't have to write them. So, they just go and find the poets. They find their text and they look at it and go, right, okay. Similar to what I've been through today. If you're going to do a glacial cold thing, there's tempo, the rate of harmonic movement, how do you, what sort of, lots of bare, open, not warm chords, but bare, naked kind of sounds. So you kind of scan the text and it tells you a lot about tempo. There's some things like the opportunities that I talked about earlier, like the refrain, do something smart, something harmonic. Using an inversion, a 7th chord, a 3rd inversion, technically speaking. Yeah, that's smart, compared with the other stuff, which is quite dumb. So you can see, if you've got the text in front of you and you let it tell you what music it wants, where it wants things to change, what you end up with is that marriage, and you end up with it much quicker. Which is why I've been hearing my kids say, look, try it, just try it for a year. And because output is a virtue all by itself, for students, I can say, look, if you write 3 songs a year, you don't have a career. Basically, that's the end of the story, especially when you're young, because, you put out an album, and then, and you put another one out a year later, and the same people that bought the first one will still be in the market. If it's 5 years between one album and the next, those people have got marriages, kids, and mortgages, and they want to buy records. You need to get them hooked with 2 or 3 great records in a short time span, and then they might keep following you even through the hard times of marriage and kids and mortgages, and might come back to you. We'll just keep track of, they put another album. I might treat myself to that, And it's, so yeah, productivity is really, it's kind of my job actually to tell students, well, you can do it that way, but it can be a black hole of time, and you end up with either no song or a song that's very square peg round hole with the relationship between the lyrics and the music. And all the great songs, it doesn't matter how they were written, they all sound utterly like you can't imagine this music not being with this text.
Thanks very much. My question is not directly about your music, but about the students that you're teaching and the ability to make a living out of this. Because I'm hearing that some of the groups nowadays, Opshop and the like, they're getting to the audience through advertising. Somebody picks up one of their songs with us, or they've got a YouTube following, or whatever. And
Yep.
my wonder is whether that's something that either the belongs to your students, will you actually have to do really brainstorming and how you actually go about doing that? Because, you want to create for love or whatever, but you need to eat as well. So the money side.
Well, I'm straight up with them all the time. There's very few people in this country that songwriters that make a living from it. They're nearly all doing something else. I mean, Don McGlashan's probably one of our most well-known songwriters. He puts bread on the table with doing TV and film work. He puts an album out every few years. One of my favourite songwriters, Randy Newman, is the same. He does soundtracks for Toy Story and stuff like that. He puts an album out about every 3 or 4 years, which sells about 40,000 copies worldwide. One of the greatest living songwriters that we have. But, it's at that end of the market, if you're not kind of selling millions, usually with kind of rubbishy stuff and fad stuff, then, you usually have to, and that's the whole point of the degree. is that we give the students, you know, all sorts of skills. You know, they have to be able to read. Okay, you can go and play in your rock band and throw your reading away if you don't want to use it in the context of your rock band, but by the time you finish your degree, you would be a very good reader, and therefore you will be able to do film work. You should be able to do, you know, a jiggle. You should be able to do this. You should be able to teach kids to do stuff. You know, you should be able to go to high school. That's what the degree gives you. You can become a high school teacher, and many of ours are, and they're fantastic compared with the music teachers I had. Oh, like it. And it's just, if I had some of the people that we're producing, you know, you would have died and gone to heaven to have someone like that teaching you in high school. So yeah, they're under no illusions. It's because it's a small country, 4 million people. You know, how many times can you tour it before? Hang on a minute, you were only here last week. When am I going to see you again? That's why people go to America, because you go, you know, it takes you a month and a half to do a pretty big circle, and then you take a month off to recuperate, and then you go and do it again. That's how they build profile in America. And so you're coming around about once every 3 months to each town, and it's 200 people the first time, and then they all tell their mates, and then it's 500 the next time, and then it's 1,500. And that's how the Nirvanas and all those sort of bands has happened. But we can't do it yet. We're too small. So yeah, we're stuck with doing something else, really, and that's just the unfortunate truth of it.
Thanks, Graham. I was just really interested in your approach to editing. You know, if you write a poem in February and you're waiting for that January golden holiday period,
Yep.
so it's been, you know, 11 months.
Mm-hmm.
When you were writing in February, were you humming an imaginary tune so that your syllables kind of fitted? Or do you do all that reducing? Or what's your process of editing when you come around to January?
What I generally do is I write the poem and just, some of them, I mean, I keep them, every time I change it, I go up 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, sometimes up to about 18 or 19. And then when I start setting it, the music very quickly tells me, excuse me, I want another line text here, please. Just because the way the music's going, and then you go through all your old drafts and find something that you discarded because you thought you could get away without it, and then you go, oh, actually, I can actually use that now. More often than not, what the music does is eject the text. It's usually a paring down and you know, simplifying, getting rid of any word that you don't, is not necessary to be there. Or if you've got 2 lines with 2 strands of meaning, can you find a way to incorporate all of that into one line? Can it be compressed? And that's the difficulty with working with students, of course. It's an experienced type process, but that's, you know, that's what you have to do. So yeah, that's quite often what happens is I'll get the poem there to the point where the meaning is captured. I mean, that's the thing. Meaning capture is the first thing that you do. And I tell students, you know, don't try and write songs, lyrics, don't. Write them in prose first, capture the idea first of what you're going to try and say. Then start maybe versifying it a little bit, just a little bit. And then when you get the music to start, the music will start telling you, this needs to be A, A, B, B, A, A, C, C, or whatever, the rhyme scheme. The music will push it around anyway, so there's no point being too kind of like focused on it too early. You just kind of get it, okay, it's captured what I wanted to say. Now let's see what, and then start the music process, and the music will cause another edit to happen most times. Either for phonetic reasons, oftentimes, because that's the other part. You know, everything about singing is you need to have your mouth, when you finish saying one word, it needs to be in the right place to start the next one. You know, if you end up at the front of your mouth, the next word's pretty tongue's got to go way to the back. I mean, I call it tongue gymnastics. That's what my students know it as. You know, so there's all sorts of things that can get tweaked for all sorts of different reasons.
I've got possibly 2 questions. What do you think of Stephen Malcolm's version of Death of the Maidens? And have you had a chance to chat to him about songwriting?
No, that's pretty much the only time I've met him. Stephen Malcolm, when he came over, it was the following 22nd or whatever it was. He was last to record. I think he'd had a few too many substances during the day. And kind of at the end of the day said, I'll do Death of the Maiden. And I said, all right, I'll write the words out for you. And I said, I know the bass line, so I've recorded in 15 minutes, one take. Really. We just sang it once and we just played along, and that's it. drummer from what band, I can't remember. It's all right. It's got this mannerism thing going on. But you know, it seems the bands, you know, Alan P did it as well, so it seems that bands can do it without wrecking it entirely. So, which is always a good sign, actually, of a good song if somebody else can sing it. And it's always kind of like a real, you know, you probably know that if somebody else can sing it, make it work for them. Hasn't got. Steve Milton, when he came over, that was the flying 22nd or whatever it was. He was last to record. I think he had a few too many substances during the day. And kind of at the end of the day says, "Oh, we did the Maiden." I said, "All right, I'll write the words out for you." And I said, "I know the bass line, so it's recorded in 15 minutes, one take." Really. He just sang it once and we just played along and that's it. With drummer from what band, I can't remember. It's all right. It's got his mannerism thing going on. But you know, it seems the bands, you know, Alan P did it as well, so it seems that bands can do it without wrecking it entirely. So. Which is always a good sign, actually, of a good song if somebody else can sing it. And it's always kind of like a real, you know, you probably know that if somebody else can sing it, make it work for them. Hasn't got the quirk, as Don McGlashan calls it, which is it'll work for you, but won't work for everybody else. Cool. No other questions? One more? It's, yeah, well, I mean, the standard song forms are AAA, same music, different words, very different stories. Johnny Mitchell, Coyote, half of the PTA. AABA, with the B section was different music with a different perspective. They're usually really good for head voice songs when you're eavesdropping on somebody thinking. Yesterday, love was such an easy game, the player's talking to himself. No one else in the room, so it's good. Verse, chorus, or verse, climb, chorus. They're good. They're sort of, you know, you set the who, what, where about what the song is, and you delay it a little bit, and then you've got this grand statement, and this is why I say, because the night belongs to lovers, because the night belongs to us. I've got this big statement to say. Okay, and a lot of Dunedin band stuff, Blind stuff, kind of doesn't go for that bombast. I mean, that's what Death and the Maiden is, actually. But it's kind of anti because the chorus is nonsense. When you get there, it's got all the hallmarks of the big punch and chorus, but when you get there, it's sort of dribble. So it's kind of a piss taken away. But yeah, so that's it. I mean, and various people that write about the art of songwriting lyrics. And we had a wonderful country singer giving a chat to us down in Dunedin last year. I can't recall his name. And he says, you only have to make one mistake to ruin a song. He says, because the best ones out there just don't make mistakes. Everything's perfect in them. And one of the things that especially young songwriters can make a mistake of is getting addicted to verse chorus. When they write a lyric, and it's, this is far too intimate a content, sort of, you know, from the stadium rock thing, you know, it's, you've got the wrong form and you're trying to stick that text into it. I mean, the thing is, you know, there's a lot of influences in my music, which is, you know, there are rock influences, but there's a lot of classical influences, and, you know, a lot of like the early stuff. And incidentally, I'm arranging 22 or 24 songs for the Southern Symphonia to sing with Annalise next February in Dunedin, if you want to go down to Dunedin on February 28th. And it's, I mean, they're awesome. They're so easy. They've just, you know, they adapt to an orchestral setting very, very easily. And they sound fantastic. Because they do have a symphonic sweep about it. You know, a lot of the time it's to do with the phrasing things that I talked a little bit about tonight. You know, most pop music's 4+4, very square, because it's predictable. Kids can get it. You can dance to it because you know when you put it in your body. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 3, 4. It's a 6-bar phrase, and that's correct. It's a lot of the music has that kind of classical flexibility in phrase. It just doesn't often suit this chorusy type of thing, which is usually kind of pretty square and predictable, so that you know what, in a way, the audience knows the chorus is coming. Yeah. Well, it depends what they want to do. If you want to be in a Dunedin sound club, or if you want to be like Radiohead, if you want to be at that level of sophistication, or you want to sound like the Pixies, you better learn how to write stuff that isn't in 4-bar phrases, because they don't. They write all sorts of strange stuff. Right? Yeah. Yeah, well, it doesn't quite. See, that's what again, what's a little bit punk about it. I never seen it done. Okay, usually you get an answer that's pretty similar. I cut my teeth on it's a little tail piece that you're not expecting. And I'm not proud of my dreams. I've got 3. Everything in pop music's nearly always 4. It's like question and answer. And she interrupts it up to 3 melodic things very sly. And that's why she knows, she comes across as, I know what I'm doing. I'm not on 17 or whatever shit. I know how the world works. See if I can control it. It's exactly like I want it to be. And not to anybody else's rules. It's quite good. So yeah, even there, the paradigm's being, we're being made to expect it, and she's not delivering it. Quite clever, actually. I just wonder and hope that she keeps going and anticipate what she does next, because she's going to do a lot of growing real quick, and who knows where she'll go. But yeah, I mean, most music is on the basis of expectation anyway. I mean, music sets up expectations of what it's going to do, and we like that to a certain extent, because we can follow it, or we can things like sequences and those sorts of things, which remain a state of baroque music or any kind of up, 4, down, 1, that ends up being, smells like Teen Spirit. And what's the next 2 notes that we carry the sequence on? Smart cookies. So yeah, we love predictable things, especially when they play out almost as we expect them to, and it's kind of quite gratifying. Certain types of things, more problematic music, about problematic things, you need to be able to kind of make it a little bit bent out of shape to express those sorts of qualities. So it's horses for courses. I mean, I will have things. Certain areas have rules. If you're doing music theatre, right, fine, I can help kids do music theatre type stuff. The lyrics have to be fantastic. The word setting has to be absolutely perfect. You can use this many chords. You can't use one of those. Death metal can't play it there. The death metal, it's all got to be down here, and even you have to drop the guitar another couple of notches down to drop C, and never get any higher than here. It's got to be down there. So everything has every style has its limitations. The thing about alternative music generally is that it's a rebellion against those kind of boxes. If we want to be loud and raucous, we will be. If we want to be incredibly soft, sensitive, if we want to be actually, this is of course not a very rock thing to do, which is all macho, but we want to be really sensitive. Sergeant says he's just back there, so come with me. Somewhere random scale is singing, I'm set free, set free. But, the whole being prepared to open up even the most visceral part of your soul and sing about it. ACDC, I can do that. So, that's part of what we were, almost politically, that we demand a maleness that's got the full range of emotions, thank you very much, not a wrestling beard box that we're expected to fit into. We demand freedom to express. Quite a big deal, actually. Well, thank you very much, everybody. I'm probably time to go to dinner, and thank you for coming out to the podcast. Anyone else want to chat or talk, ask other questions, I'll hang around.